Hi guys. So today we're having such a lovely conversation. We're speaking, about reshaping business travel or private travel in Africa. And my guest is right on here. Let me try to add her. Okay. Oh
Hi,
my God, I don't know how I'm so bad with technology. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having.
Coming in from Dakar.
Yes, and where are you actually?
I'm in Nairobi, and let me tell you, I hate to say this, but we're having power blackouts. You know, all the time my friends keep telling me in South Africa they have load shedding. Apparently, they tell them how to prepare for days when they will not have electricity, and I think it's normal.
I
But
think,
my but for the past 3 days, my life has been on a hold because we don't have power.
but it is all over Africa, I think, and it's coming onto you up to Europe. So you're the only one. That's the
I can't
word.
run Europe also.
That's a shortage. That's because of Russia. So anyway, we are not here to talk about politics.
I know.
Thank you, Maggie, for inviting me.
So I'm really super excited to be hosting Nanou. She's a friend of mine, but also an entrepreneur and a businesswoman, and she's into the aviation sector. I really don't know where to place you because I know you're into different fields,
Yeah.
hospitality, you're into the beauty industry, but also into aviation. But I think particularly today, I want to speak to you about private travel and business travel. And you know what's funny? When we sent out the post about speaking to you, I had
Mhm.
a lot of texting me and calling me and saying to me, I've never been on a private travel. I really want to listen to some tips and tricks from Nanou on how I can actually have my first private flight
I
and exit.
will not disappoint them.
Yeah,
Fine.
but capacity, I want to introduce Nanou. Nanou is the director for comms, corporate communications and marketing at Projects. If you could just give us maybe in less than a minute, just a bit background about Projects, then we can delve into the conversation, Nanou.
Yeah, actually, Project, it's a business aviation company based here in Dakar, Senegal. We are operating since 2019 now, so quite old company now, let's say that. So, yeah, we operate two different planes, Challenger 604 and a Global Express. And we also have a new coming in, it's called a Learjet, which is a small plane, more affordable. So we will probably more talk about this category of flight.
No, you know what's funny? I first got on a private flight myself in 2018, and I probably took 50 pictures or photos.
Really? I
Because
think does that.
is this what happened to you also when you first got on a?
People get bored after a few trips, so you need to
Yeah.
travel more often on a
Yeah.
private jet then.
What happened is that then after I got on a second one, third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one, as I probably was the one taking pictures because then I had so many pictures,
Mhm.
unless then I didn't know which one to change. So I say it's been a bit of a privilege to work in a space where I've had a chance to probably charter a flight. But how special? What makes, for example, a private charter or a private trip different from commercial? I think a lot of people, this is something they anticipate, think about, but don't know that deeper.
Actually, as you can see, we are talking through social media. So we are in a social media era, sorry, and every single move or every single decision comes public. Your life is not private anymore. So
Yeah.
what that our fly private gives you is privacy. And that's priceless because you don't travel from the same airport than everyone or the same terminal. You barely meet some other peoples when you are traveling. And also another things that flying private gives you is freedom because you decide when, you decide where, you decide with whom. And this is priceless also. You
But
don't
that
cash anymore.
and
Like the plane literally wait for you. So
yeah.
this is something completely different than commercial flights.
But this comes at a cost, no? Because when you talk private and privacy and flying private, you think a lot of money, millions of CFAs or or shillings or francs, depending on where you're coming from.
Actually, we are not going to say that it's affordable for everyone, but for someone that used to fly like in business class or first class, of course, it is affordable for this kind category of flyers. So yeah, but once in your life, maybe if it's your, I will say, if it's your honeymoon or your 40th birthday, so you can like charter a short flight with your friends, and this is something here in project that we want to implement is using this small plane, the Learjet, which is 8-seater. And for example, you can charter it with 8 of your friends from Dakar, Senegal to, let's say, Banjul in Gambia. It is barely 1 hour flight time. So you can go there for a weekend, and it will cost you like maximum 2,000 euro per person, which is 1 million and something safer. So if it's a very for a special occasion, I think once in your life you can afford that, right?
And that's because then you have your own private flight. You're together as a group of friends, but also the amount is not a lot, because for a business class ticket you can buy it that same amount or even more.
Especially here in Africa, you know about that. You travel a lot. It's very complicated to come to several cities. Like, I'm originally from Chad, and it's just a nightmare to buy a ticket to go to my home country, even from Dakar. If you want to go to N'Djamena, it will cost you 3,000 euro in economy class, not in business class. So it's very expensive. So
I need to first laugh. $3,000 for economy class?
exactly with Askai.
Do you think we will be able to fly private?
It will be too long and too expensive for one person, but for a group of people, yeah. But to talk about the how do you say it, the affordability of flying private, actually it's more for companies. Like, we're talking about business aviation here.
Oh,
Our big target is more the multinational and the big companies here, because when you come to business travel, you have a expense that come with. I'm talking about the tickets, I'm talking about the hotel rooms, your allowance, and all these different costs. But it's only for one meeting, maybe, that you can do it in one day. But for example, the example that I give most of the time to my potential clients is, for example, when you leave Dakar, Senegal to, let's say, Freetown in Sierra Leone, it's like a 1 hour, 15 minutes flight. Most of the people who go there, it's for business trip. So you can go in the same day, do your meeting, and come back with a private jet. And most of the time, it will cost you less. It depends on people who are traveling all together. If they're executive, if they're flying business class. But we are talking about people that are used to business class and first class. We are not talking about people that travel with economy. Let's be real. So yeah, it's not that expensive. And also, there is one thing that we have to keep in mind as a business person: time is money. So if you
absolutely.
spend a whole week to go to a country for one meeting and come back, you are losing time. You can do it in one day, in few hours, with a small plane, and it will cost you less, because the time that you spend abroad is the time that you didn't spend in your business, developing your business. So this is for business people. This is a very, and they understood. You can see in Europe or in America, people understood that for a long time now. It's no longer something exclusive or something expensive or something. It's not about luxury anymore when it comes to business travel. So,
What's funny, that I really would like for you to touch more on the fact that it's not luxury anymore when it comes to business travel. It's about saving time, and it's about saving time to actually make money. And I have a feeling that oftentimes in Africa, when you look at it, it's like, if you're flying private, then you're a billionaire, you're everything. But I also sometimes feel like you gotta set standards, especially if you're going to make money. You're not going to, for example, show up at a meeting after flying 3 days of getting to an hour destination and
mhm.
think you're probably going to catch your meeting or your deal in time. Which brings me to the question or something I would really want you to help us understand. For the past couple of years, obviously you've been operating in one of the leading private jet companies in the region. What are the trends you have noticed? Like, is it more business people that are flying private, or are you seeing a lot of young entrepreneurs as well starting to actually embrace this trend?
Actually, I have to say that since we started, we never had like leisure travel. It's mostly business travel.
Yeah.
Why? Because it is very complicated to reach one city to another from African cities. There are not a lot of airplane company, and even if there is Air Senegal that travel all over Africa, almost all over Africa, when you have an important meeting, and I give this example also most of the time, most of the businessmen, they are
Yeah.
trying to connect with president, and you don't get like a meeting with a president 1 week in advance. You are noticed like one day before that the president will meet you. So for a business that that will give 20,000 and more of million, you can pay 20,000 euro to reach your meeting with a
Yeah.
head of state, someone important. So yeah, it's a very, that's what I've noticed. Actually, we have people that need to be somewhere and they don't have a choice actually. But we also have people like someone that you know that are a businessman and a very active and very a big traveler, and in the same months, what he said in one interview, he need to reach like 10 cities in the same week or same month, and you cannot do it with commercial flights. This is just so yeah, I have this kind of clients too, and of course other clients that but I'm not supposed to talk about all
Yes.
the experience that are here. Yeah.
So glad we're talking this, Nanou, because you know aviation, we always look at it very far away. To be honest with you, I know a lot of people that I speak to, and they say to me, my dream is even to be on a flight, you know. So when you tell them now fly private, they're like, okay, let me first get in a business.
It is a dream that can come true, of course, and
Yeah.
not big expense for I think let's say for maybe even 10,000 euro you can go in a flight. Of course it's a lot of money, let's keep it real. We are here in Africa and there are realities,
The
but
thing
yeah.
is that you don't spend that amount of money. How are you going to make that amount of money? Have you thought about it, that your expenditure probably determines your the money that you bring in? I don't know really.
Yeah, of course. That's the example I gave you about the meetings that you have to attend for a business trip that will let you earn a lot of money. So yeah, of course, you have. I don't know how to translate this sentence in English from French, but you get what you paid. It is you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. Is it?
Yeah. But, for the guys that have joined in, I'll be taking any questions if there's any. But Nanou, I also really want to learn as much in this particular case. I'd really love to jump on a private jet with friends.
Mhm.
Where would one even start from in terms of, you
It's,
know, making a trip?
working on a package in partnership with hotels in the region, like in Capo Verde.
Yes.
Little Praia and Sal, which are different islands in Capo Verde, and also with Bonjour and lately with Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. So the idea is to sell package for a weekend. You leave on Friday and you come back on Sunday, and the package will include the flights in private jet with a really nice experience. You can even personalize the plane if it's your birthday or if it's your honeymoon or any other occasion. And we'll try to do like short destination, like 1 to 2 hours flight time, because of course, the far you go, the more it's expensive. So it is better to start with Bonjour, which is not too far, and also Capo Verde, and why not Bissau? We'll see. But first of all, we are targeting Gambia and Capo Verde for now.
None we
So
have I'm sorry, I hope I didn't stop you when you were still
no,
talking. We have
tell
a
me.
He says, this is really insightful. How did you go about establishing your private aviation business? Well, I thought, you know what, this is another level. So we're not just getting on the private jet, we want to start the businesses as well, you know?
You tell me again. What is the steps to start your
Some
own
private jet business. Someone just asked a question. How did you go about establishing your private aviation business? I think I have to mention that
You have
actually.
to start with a plane first. I mean, the tool of your business is a plane. So if you want to start a private jet aviation company, you have to start with the plane. But don't forget something. It's not a small business. A plane is very, very expensive, and to start, I don't know, but. I'm not the more qualified person to give you tips about how to start your own business aviation company, but I can say that it's not it is expensive, and you have to start with a plane.
Yeah,
That,
absolutely.
that
Yeah, but we can give tips on how to effectively travel private for more business or, reshaping business travel. Now, I wanted to ask you, for me, it's beyond just projects and looking at the sector.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's not like how you see a lot of other business sectors, that embrace women immediately.
Mm.
If you're within beyond airports, but operations, all of that, you'll find a lot of guys. How is it like operating within?
In aviation, it is exactly the same in all other businesses. We we are still a minority in different kind of businesses. In project, we are still a minority too.
Just
So yeah, and you can even see in aviation in general, that's a man and the flight attendant are women, but you have a lot of women that coming on aviation and the technical side. And we have, for example, in project, our chief operator in no, our maintenance director is a woman, and it's a young woman that studies here in Senegal. So you have more and more women in this business, but it's not difficult than any other job, I guess, for women. We can do it.
I mean, and I guess, I was reading an article that said there are more private jets in Nigeria than anywhere in Africa, and it's probably even in around the world. And
Mm-hmm.
like Nigeria has actually embraced the private jet business, and you see even a lot of women or people owning. But there's always this narrative, owning and traveling private and all of that, and it comes back to the cost, especially for the travelers. For the owning part of this, it goes to the billionaires. And I had someone ask me
Mm-hmm.
roughly, how much does it cost to travel private? For example, if I wanted to charter and to charter a plane myself. But before you answer that, which has reminded me, is a chartered flight different from a private jet? Let me sound blonde.
No, actually, a private jet is that a jet that is not meant for commercial flights, like with it's especially a small amount of people. First of all, it is private because it's owned by an individual and not most of the airplane companies are owned by the states. But charter is just an English word to say travel renting, like renting a plane.
So
So
it's the same.
when you charter a private jet, it's just like you're chartering a commercial flight or cargo plane. It's the same word, actually. Charter means just a rent, actually. Just
Yeah.
rent a private jet.
So it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I was lying to somebody that it's different. So me, I was thinking, charter flight is probably little planes that are tiny, teeny, three seats, and then private jet is probably luxury. It comes with, champagne and all of that. Not to mention, you have a
But
red carpet.
like a small plane without champagne, without a
Yeah.
flight attendant, but you can also charter a private jet with a room and a living room and a meeting room inside. It's just the action of renting a plane.
So does it mean that when you charter, it's usually cheaper than when you take a private jet?
We still talk about the same subject. Charter, it's like,
Uh,
for
hey,
example,
oh my God. Yeah.
for example, you can say this is a charter flight talking about, those holiday agency that send you sell you tickets and a
Yes.
for a proper destination with people that you don't know. So they call them charter flights. But in even in business aviation, we talk about charter, like you rent it out. That's it. So
Ah, okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's the same.
exactly. The word is just charter. I think the meaning you are better in English than me, but it means just rent.
I used to be until I started living in French-speaking countries. So it.
French, we said this is a vol charter. So that
Ah,
means the holiday cheap group travel, but
okay.
in
Mm,
private jet we call charter.
that makes a lot of sense. My other question is, when we say affordable, I think that's one of the things that people keep on asking me. What do you mean by affordable? At what cost can it really? Of course, you've said even like for 10,000 euros, you can actually get a jet.
Yeah, of
Can
course.
at some point in life, can it actually go below, depending on which region it is?
I don't think actually the price are going more up now that the fuel costs a bit higher. So maybe in the long future it will come below. But actually the market is never stable. Like for example, 1 year ago, if you wanna own, I mean own buy a plane, you can have a small plane for let's say 500,000 dollar, but the same small plane has doubled or tripled since 2022, and that's because of COVID. Because since COVID, the people that are not used to fly private started. They are not doing it because they became rich, but they are doing it because they had the money to do it before, but it wasn't an how do you say it, in the mentality. So since COVID, people are more afraid to get sick. They discover, because at some point during COVID, commercial flights were not operating, but private flights were operating. So people could move with private jets. So all that made that a lot of people wanted to own a plane, and the price are just doubled since beginning of 2022. So maybe in few years it will come down. And also the other reason for this increase of prices is that like every industry, they
Mm,
stop producing. So they stop producing planes, like
yeah.
the manufacturer like Bombardier or Dassault or Boeing or Airbus or all those companies that build plane. They stopped building planes because of COVID, because they had this order, and even if you bought, I mean, new plane, you will get your plane like 3 or 5 years later. So for people that need to buy plane now, they have to buy a pre-owned plane, and this is why the prices are so high. And the prices are high because even you notice it in your commercial air ticket. Now you have the fuel cost added to your ticket because
You
of the
realize that, but I realized my commercial tickets actually increased the price.
a
Even
lot.
it's a lot, even for my flight from like east to west. Like I was looking at it the other day because I've been trying to book a month before, and it's
Hmm.
double what I used to pay when I used to travel to Dakar.
Yeah, this is because of the war once again.
Wow.
But maybe the price will come down. Will how do you say? Will stabilize, come down in the future. Who knows?
So Nanu, it's interesting because you've given us perspective that I had it incorporated in. Obviously, I knew the prices of fuel had gone up, but how it looks like it's even going to become a bit more expensive. But let's say, for example, listen. For example, I have 9 of my girlfriends and we are 10 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And dream of, traveling private at one point in time. So that means if the price of a jet is 10,000,
You
we
will
can
pay
pay $1,000. But is it possible to get a jet for $10,000 for 10 people, or that's even impossible?
the line went off. Went off. What did you say? Sorry.
Yeah, for example, if it's 10,000 for a jet and you're 10 people,
Mm-hmm.
is it that the price also the number of seats? Is it even possible to get a $10,000 jet of 10 seats?
Not maybe 10,000, a bit higher. Like, for example, in a 12-seater, the Cylinder 604 that we have in the company, you can travel to Gambia, to Banjul, for, let's say, roughly, I will say 15,000 euro. So you can fly with 10 people and it will cost you 1,500 euro each. So yep, you can.
It's a flight a bit further, it even becomes more expensive. It
Yeah.
depends on.
Let me explain how it works for the price calculation. Actually, in private aviation, you pay how hours of flight, and no matter if you just want to go one way, you will pay the what we call the positional flight. So let me give you an example. You are here in Dakar and you want to go to Mindelo. Let's say it is roughly two hours flight. So you will pay 4 hours flight in total. So if the price is 6,000 euro per hour, this is an example. This is not. It depends of any plane. So okay. To make it easier, let's say the time the hourly cost it's 5,000 euro. You will pay four times 5,000 euro. So this is what will make it expensive. But of course, what was your question? I'm sorry, I'm lost.
The price, you said that you have to pay for the time. If it takes you, you have to pay twice. For
Yes.
example, if the flight is 2 you have to pay
a one-way flight.
Ah.
Even if in the cost, I mean, if we can, private aviation is a on-demand flight. You decide where you want to go, when you want to go, with who you want to go, at what time you want to go. That's not the point. It's not like commercial flights where you have destination, where we have airports. You can even choose the airport where you wanna land. I'm going to give you the example of Dakar. For example, Dakar, we have here 2 airports. We have the old airport, which is more closer to the city, and we have the new airport, which is 1 to 2 hours drive to the city. So when you fly private, you can decide either you want to land in the new airport or the old airport. All depend of where you want to go from there. So this is private aviation. So you choose your destination, you choose your time of living, and you choose everything. That's the freedom I'm talking about.
But Nanou, think about it this way, because if you say you're paying every hour, it means if you're doing freedom of travel and if you are playing, for example, from 10 a.m. and you instead travel at 12 p.m., so you're paying for that hour you haven't traveled yet.
No. You pay the flight time. You pay for the flight time. Then there are different costs that comes with the trip. It depends if the plane has to wait for you for 2-3 days. So there is for this the positioning time. We call it positioning time. Is the time the plane is waiting for you, because while the plane is waiting for you, we are not selling it to someone else. So there is additional cost. But when I'm talking about 10,000, 15,000, I'm talking about a weekend flight. Like you leave on Friday, you come back on Sunday, and the plane wait for you for 2 nights. That's what I'm talking about. So this is why there is no. For example, most of the time I receive receive calls or emails asking me, what is your price for this, for example, this destination. I'm like, no, I need more information to give you a price, because you have different point that you have to consider to give a price. So there is no, it's not a commercial ticket that you are buying. You are chartering a private jet. You're owning your for a few days. And I have a funny story about one of my clients.
Please.
And he said, when he in Africa, and even everywhere, people are aware of everything. So
Yeah.
the guy in this capital city, and he received a call from the president asking him if he can drop his wife somewhere in Africa with. So why charter a private jet like you are owning it for a few days, free time anyway. So yeah, this guy. Let's.
No, wait. He was chartering a flight, and the
Mhm.
president came and said, "Can you drop my wife?"
With your jet. That's the story, and sometimes when you charter private jet, you can get business opportunities,
Yes.
because land with your
No,
jets.
no. That's what I want you to talk to us about, because Mansa is all about business, trade, investment, and really making money.
Mhm.
And obviously, one of the things I know a lot of people asked me was, well, does traveling private increase my chances of making money? And I said, maybe at some point, when you spend much more money, for example, on travel, then it means you have to charge much more money. Does it create opportunities for you as a traveler, as a business traveler?
Of course, because you don't get the same how do you say it, welcoming when you travel in a commercial flight, or when you land with your jet. Let's be real. So of course there are opportunities, and some people just charter a flight to get the appointment that they are looking for, to get the business they are looking for. So they give them more credibility, they give them more assurance, because if they can afford a jet, all depend of the size of the jet, of course, they can have the business, and they can make the business. So yeah, there is an opportunity for businessmen, and I think that's why they call it business aviation, first of all.
Honestly, that's really impressive, because now it makes a lot of sense that it goes beyond just travel, and it looks much more on creating business opportunities like we've seen in a lot of countries. Wow, that is impressive. Yeah.
Yes, but it is coming here. People are starting to get the idea, and the positive advantage that they can get from this kind of travel. Once again, first of all, gain of time, and also flexibility, and it is even, as for us as a business jet company, uh, it helps the country also. It brings more opportunities, because as you know, most of our countries are landlocked, or it's not easier to reach the city. So having a company like our here helps the country to develop also. And now with the oil exploitation, they will need this kind of services here.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
and this is why we are here, of course.
I mean, I have to really let our audience or those watching know that I've learned a lot from you in terms of running enterprises. You're a very entrepreneurial woman, and I really admire that about you. And that having said, look at Soto. She says, "Very good to know. It's good to have you join us, Soto. Although we have 10 minutes left, we've been
So,
speaking for an hour." Yeah, so that having said that, Nanou, for me, I think it's very important when we speak to people like you that have been out there in the space, obviously. When you tell me a story of somebody that, for example, the president called to say, take my wife, then that's like an opportunity immediately. If you're a business person, you'll be like, oh, let me see what can I do with the president, for example. So it goes without saying that how do we use business travel to position ourselves for business. As an entrepreneur, or as a young woman, or a young man, or not even young, as an entrepreneur watching from all over the world, or from across Africa, you've noticed these trends. Much as I'm laughing at the stories, I think it's very commendable that, you know, people in Africa seem to believe, even all over the world, how you show up is how they take you. You show up in a private jet, obviously, you're going to get all the business. Probably they will even sell the country to you in some of our countries.
No, let's keep it real. Not all the time. It helps. Yeah.
Most times. So I'm going to ask you like 3 tips. Like if you were to give us advice, where to start, how to start, and how to position yourself, and, you know, and give us reasons. Why is it important for you to travel, you know, business? It doesn't even necessarily mean maybe private travel, but once in a while to upgrade yourself to that level of comfort. But also I've had stories of people who say, I met so and so on my business, you know, trip, or I met so and so on this trip, which is unbelievable most of the time, but it's stories you hear and you believe.
Actually, all depends of your how do you say it, where you are in your business. Of course,
Yeah.
if you're starting a business and
Yeah.
you're for some kind of if you are targeting some kind of people, it is more interesting to travel in a business class and meet people at the airport, because when you fly you fly private, you don't meet people. But this is different topics. If you are
But
in
when you travel economy, you hate people because you're just like, you know.
that that's true. This is not the question. So my answer would be my answer and my how do I say, my advice will be for someone that is already, who has already started his business and who is at some point in his business. So flying private give them flexibility, give them what people right.
There's a I'm gonna come to that question when you're done,
Yeah,
Nanou.
question later. So for me, first of all, you need to fly it private because you gain time, and time is money, as we said, and also you don't miss opportunity. For example, if, as I said earlier, if you have an appointment with a very important person that doesn't give appointment 1 week notice for your appointment, they will call you like, where are you? Come, the president's waiting for you. Of course,
Yeah.
you have to do all you can to reach and to be there for this appointment. So flying private helps you to seize opportunities. So, and also, as you said, it is very important, we like it or not, the way you look, the way you present is very important on every business. So if you get somewhere with your jet, it doesn't sound the same when you say, I just land with my jet, then I just land with Air Senegal and I'm taking my taxi and coming to the meeting. So so yeah, when you
I'm not going to say those questions, but I'm gonna say a story which is funny. For me, that day made me realize that, you know what, I need to upgrade my life, but I'm still trying. I'm not yet there. I took a flight from Accra. It's not far away. It's in July. I came from Senegal, came down to Kenya, and then went back. No, went Senegal, Accra, Kenya. No, Senegal, Accra, and then my return flight was Accra, Kenya, Senegal. Senegal is close to Accra and Kenya is in West Africa. But I had to come to West Africa to go I had to come to East Africa to go to West Africa. That day I realized that, you know what, I'm a peasant. If I am traveling hours and passing my home to go to the other region, there is
the case for many people, many travelers, and it's a shame. Here in Africa, we cannot reach like 1 hour destination in a 1 hour time flight. We have to travel 2 to 3 days. But I checked, for example, if you want to fly from Dakar to Freetown, as I said, Your departure time is correct. Like you have a proper date. You go through 2 hours and 45 minutes flight. You reach Freetown, but you cannot come back the same day. You cannot come back the day after directly. You have to, if you wanna take a direct flight, you have to wait 1 week. So this is loss of time. Even if you are not a business person, you cannot afford to spend 1 week when you just need to be there for one night or a few hours, you see. So in several cities you have people that lives, for example, I used to live in Nice, so you can go in the morning to Paris, work, and come back at night at your house, and it's 1 hour flight, you see. And this is something that you don't even have it between capital cities in Africa. You cannot go to one capital city the same day, work, and come back. That's not possible.
Oh
And
my goodness.
24-hour nights. Anyway, to answer to Sodo's question, so what do you say to people who prefer to travel business class vs private for networking purpose? This is what I was saying. So when you are traveling,
As more, is it because of the lounge or because of, you know?
actually, no, because when it depends, when you are looking to network, and that's, you are in certain level of your business. So when you fly private, you are at the level, you are the person that people are targeting in the business class lounge and try to connect with. So when you are looking for connection, you can travel business class. Of course, this is more interesting for you to network, but flying private is really for the people that are targeted by people who travel business class.
So we have like classes, yeah. So it's the business class is kind of the peasants of the private travel. So it's like private travel, business, you know, travel there.
Yeah, you have the business. First, you have the private. So to answer your question, Sodo, uh, flying private not really for networking. It's really for people that need to reach somewhere, and it's actually for people that need flexibility and that doesn't have time, actually. So yeah.
Have you heard of the saying, they say fake it until you make it?
Yeah.
So there
So
are people who travel private just to target, like to be targeted. I don't know. I've heard of those stories where they will say they went bankrupt, but they used to fly private. So the goal is target. The goal is, I honestly, if you're traveling private and you're traveling and you're private, and how do you network? What kind of profile does it add? Of course, we've talked about 30
up to your
and
destination. Actually, for example, for businesses, the travel time is also an opportunity to continue working. What we do in a business class cabin, there are other people. So if you have sensitive topics you need to talk about with your team, you do it in your plane. So the networking, the additional how do you say it, the additional point that gives you flying private, it's when you reach destination. And if you're going to let's say to the Africa CEO Forum, for example, and we get there at the same time with all your pairs, with your private jet, when everyone is coming with his private jet, that's where you do the networking. But it's not for I mean, it's not for people who are looking for opportunities. It's more for people who need to work hard to maintain and gain more. I don't know how to explain that, but I mean, if Dumi were here, he might more explain it in the economic side of the.
yeah, supposed to be here, but I know he was so excited about this. But there is a new question that I actually really love. She says, have there ever been talks about private flight ride share concept? I love that, because then I can stop being angry on my flight line and just, you know, join somebody on their jet.
Again,
She
like
says, have there been a private flight ride share concept, like you share the plane, like you get
that's
different and you
already,
put them there.
of course, something that's already they call it co-jetting. Like
Yes.
you rent it with you can either rent with different several people, or you can even buy a plane with different people. So you share the ownership of the plane, or you share the cost when you just rent the plane. Yes, of course. And there are a lot of others way to fly private. For example, in cities where you have a lot of private jet companies, you have this way of traveling called empty legs. So, for example, if you charter a plane from Dakar to Paris, and the plane has to come back to Paris empty, we can sell it to you like half price than what you normally paid. So, and sometimes we can just sell you a seat in this private. So you have opportunities like this, but less in Africa. You have more in America or in Europe. You have this
Yeah.
service. Mm.
I mean, interesting. That is something I would definitely jump onto. Let me tell you what pisses me off
You
is hmm?
Yeah, for example, I check with the companies that do this kind of offer. You can, for example, during the peak time, during the summer in Europe, you can fly from Geneva to Paris for 2,000 euro in a private jet. So it's a way for people who
Wait,
want
wait,
to
wait.
experience.
2,000 euros?
Yeah, for 2,000 euro, you can, but in this kind of situation, yeah. Ah, okay. In this kind of situation, you don't choose your time of departure. You don't choose your airport of destination, but you can jump in a private jet, for example, from Geneva to Paris for 2,000 euro. Yes.
But where do you find these opportunities? Like, this is such a lovely
So
opportunity.
So the FlyXO, which is a company that does empty legs, mostly empty legs. They sell empty legs, like the screen all over all over the world. The different airplane companies that have plane coming back empty, so they sell it as an empty leg. So it's called FlyXO.
Wow, that is really interesting. So those are lovely questions. I wish you had. We should probably invite you to come and co-host with us, and we have it like a chat for 3 people. But probably next time. Now we have like 5 minutes left. I don't think I can get hold of Dumi. I won't be shocked if my messages are not going through. So I will assume that he has no electricity, unfortunately. So it
Sorry.
is so sad that we talk about flying private and our countries cannot give us power. But that's another chat for
That's
next.
so true. That's another topic for another
Yeah.
day.
I know. So we are peasants in our homes and we are flying private. Imagine. But I mean, for me, I think as we end the conversation, I really would like to ask you, what do you see the future like in terms of business travel? Is obviously when we say business travel, normally it excludes luxury, but are we seeing it shift to that? What are you anticipating as somebody who is in the space? You have such a big clientele, but also you probably see the trends that they move. What does the future of travel look like?
But the future is bright, I would say, because it becoming something that people are starting to adopt. Like it's getting in the mentalities and in the lifestyle of people. So, in particular in Africa, with all this development, all of those new businesses, and all of this how do we say it, opportunities coming up, people are understood now that the importance of business aviation. Actually, I'm not talking about the luxury side, but what I've noticed since we start is to get like a small plane, like 6 to 8 seaters that are cheaper than the big and luxurious jets.
Yeah.
And yeah, it will help business to develop and to prosper. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
so
this is, sorry, I cut you. It's so slow. Let
no,
me listen.
no. Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is what we're anticipating and looking at. So if I asked you for 3 tips, because normally when we end, we ask for 3 tips. I know a lot of people that got excited at the beginning of this show, like I want to learn how to fly private. We've talked about sharing.
Private matters. So I will say get some friends that are used to travel business or not. It's not mandatory, but get few friends, like 8 to 10 friends, and put your money together and choose a not too far destination. This is why I most of the time I choose Banjul because it's the closest capital city, and it's also a very nice holiday destination. So do it for a weekend with your friend. You put your money together. You save for 1 year at your birthday. You find few friends, or you can do it for New Year Eve. Actually,
Yeah.
that time, so it's difficult to get a good price for that. But yeah, for a special occasion, so just put your money together and charter for a shorter destination. And second, check out flight, so to find empty legs. And last, what can I say for last? Call me and I will let you know.
Oh, this is nice. We shout out Projects Aviation, but also I think I wanted to add that the first point depends if your friends fly business. If they fly economy, it's gonna be a long shot.
Thanks, girl. I'm joking.
Go find new friends.
So, yeah.
No, no, but lovely. You know, we've done 1 hour.
Oh my God, I was so stressed out when you told me that it's gonna be like 45 minutes. Finally, lives are easy, but hopefully people can know, how do you say it? See, how do you say it? Review it.
Yeah, we can do it. Don't worry about that. I mean, I'm so happy it's been your first Instagram live, and you don't even you look like you've been doing as many in the past. So thanks for making the time. You're so busy, and for answering all our questions and for giving us insights. And I'm hoping that for us, some of us that are so used to economy, we're gonna have to upgrade. I hope my friends had this advice. You can't fly private if you're still.
So thank you, Maggie. Thank you.
Thank you so
Me the
much, and we.
opportunity to do my first live, and congratulations about what you're doing with Manza
Oh,
Media.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and talk to you soon. See you soon.
Oh, thank you too. I've put a song in the background as we wind up this because I know it's very hard for me to even end this. Thanks sort of for all your questions and everyone that joined in and interacted, and everyone that even watched and listened in. We really appreciate. Nanou's Twitter handle is on the site as we send out all the artwork. But she's also tagged. Her company is also tagged on to Projects Aviation. And this one says, "Thanks for the live. Really appreciate it. But would like to know how can we have more information about booking?" Okay, let me let Nano answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the question?
No, let
She
me
says, "Thank you. How
you.
can we have?"
I really appreciate it. Oh, thank you for listening to us. I would like to know, how can we have more information about booking? Actually, on the website, you send your request and I receive the mail directly. But you can also, let me, can I write down my email?
Yeah.
So once
Yeah.
again, charter is coming up, Maggie. So
Hmm?
charter. No, because I'm writing down
I
the
think,
email
yeah.
where you can send your request for booking. And it starts with charter, so that's why I'm saying charter is coming up again. So it's charter at projectsaviation.com. I don't know if you can see it.
Let me also, I can't see it. Let me write it. Charter at Projects
Yeah.
Aviation. Yeah.
And at projectsaviation.com. So you can just send an email there, or even on the website, you have on the homepage a space
Oh,
where you can send your request. There is an S at charters.
okay. So my wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, I did we review all the questions? Did we answer all the questions?
Yeah, more than 1 hour. Look at you. I think we
Yeah.
did.
So perfect.
I
I'm so
think we did. But maybe they can also reach out on your Instagram page and Projects Aviation Instagram page. I don't know if the DMs are usually open. They will send an email.
Okay.
Thank you
So,
so much, Ija. I think she's the one who asked the question. And thanks, Sudan. Thanks, everyone. Guys, we have to go. It's already one.
all right, girl. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much, Nanou. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful Thursday and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thank
Bye.
you. It's already 7 p.m. here, so I'll just get my glass of tea. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for having the time to join us this evening, afternoon, and morning from wherever you've joined in from. We really appreciate it. And I'll be ending this from here and saying, if it's your thank God it's Thursday or thank God it's Friday, whatever it is for you, enjoy it. And lovely, lovely to have Nanou. And once again, appreciate it.